Hi, my name is James, and I just wanted to speak to you today and share some experience that I had back in 2006. At the time, I was in a low point in my life. My marriage was failing. I was in a toxic job, and I was really in a depression, deep depression. I was riding a motorcycle, something I did that I enjoyed as a kid, and it was a way it was almost my drug to make me feel good. Anyway, I was driving this one particular day and got involved in a rage accident where somebody kind of ran me off the road, and I wound up hitting the embankment, and I hit the embankment so hard that it gave me a death experience. It wasn't a near-death experience. From what I understand, there was an EMS member who was off duty who responded to me, and he called in on his radio that I had no pulse, no respiration, and that I had passed. And during this short time, and I don't know, maybe it was maybe 5 minutes or 10 minutes or so, something a little less than that, I felt myself traveling upward, not in my body, I guess what you would call your spirit, where typically what you hear is, you're just rising. And then I got to a point where I was in this beautiful translucent light. It was almost like an ether, and it was perfectly warming and calming, like you draw the most beautiful warm bath and sat in it. If you could think of that, how calming that would be, and then multiply that by 1,000 or 1,000,000, because it was just so much more intense. And as I was rising and rising, it just kept getting stronger and more warming and enlightening, and it felt like my spirit was just bathing in this beautiful, beautiful presence. Couldn't put a name or a face on anything. I couldn't see anything. It was just, like I said, this white light. Everything I felt or that was communicated to me was expressed almost telepathically. There was no voices. And as I was getting to the pinnacle where I was at, it came to me that I couldn't go any farther, and I could not come in, and that I had to go back. And there was no pain. I suffered from joint pains and joint injuries over the years. And I could tell you that it was just so beautiful and there was no pain, and I said, no, I want to stay. There's no way I'm going back. And it was communicated to me one more time that no, it's not your time. You have to go back. And I said no, and then boom, I was back on the ground a few minutes later. There was a little while where I don't remember what happened, but then I woke up and I was looking at the dirt, and that was my experience with death. I didn't know what to make of it for many, many years. Immediately, 17 years ago, it awoke in me and said that I could have died right then and there, which I did. And I thought I was in heaven, and I thought I was going to be going to heaven. And I said I need to make some changes in my life. I changed my job. I got out of a marriage that was failing, and a relationship that was failing. Fortunately, I did have 2 kids from the marriage, and that relationship blossomed. I got into a job where I really felt I had a calling for doing something and helping people, and I did that for about 7-8 years, and it was wonderful. As I look back now, 17 years later, the experience means has a whole different meaning to me. Now, what I realized that even though those earthly things of my marriage and my job and raising my kids, which were the most important things to me, I was still lacking the spiritual journey and improving myself spiritually. And I look back at the experience now saying that, well, maybe I wasn't allowed to stay in heaven because I wasn't holy enough or spiritual enough, and all the sins that I had committed would have prevented me from going to heaven. And maybe that experience where I changed my life initially and immediately helped me to become more spiritual. But now I'm at a point in my life where I have the highest spirituality that I've ever had, and it's great. I realize that I want to return to heaven one day. I want to be in the presence of just a beautiful, peaceful place where there are everybody you know and ever loved was there and welcoming you. And I look at that as God. When someone asks me now what my image of God is, I relate it to my experience crossing over, where it was just love. if I could explain God, there was no present. There wasn't the man with the white beard. It was just a presence of love, and I want to spend eternity in that space. And so in the last, I would say, 2 or 3 years, it has moved me spiritually to improve myself, to want to become the best version of myself, and in doing that, building a relationship with God and improving upon that every day. And that's where this horrible experience has turned into something very wonderful for me, where it changed my earthly life, and then many years later, it's changed my spiritual life. I'm hoping that sharing this, which is not an easy thing to do, some people could understand, that there is a place called heaven. At least I firmly believe that in my heart, and that we do have to earn it. And that's the message I kind of want to get across.